Alright boys, today we're talking about the fact that if you have a dream car, you're probably a pussy. This thought came to me, I was in the kitchen, it just randomly popped up, of how there's this concept, I don't know how you'd explain it, but there's like this global personality of men who have this dream car that they like look up to. And it just hit me, I was like, oh yeah, that's like the male virgin. That's the male version of like the crazy woman who says that she's wanted to get married since she was 5 years old, or like the horse lady who like really likes horses or something. You've been sold this fucking like, you've got to understand what's happening to these people, probably happening to you. If you've got this dream car in your mind, like you could say it right now, it's this, I don't know cars, I'll be completely honest, I don't drive, I don't know anything about fucking cars. I know there's like an exhaust system and like wheels. Like, I don't know about people telling me, oh, it's got a 360,000 power exhaust and the Mercedes. I don't know, what the fuck are you speaking about, bro? Do I look like a pussy to you? What the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, you've got to understand why it's in your mind. And once you understand it, you're going to start to get a little bit pissed off at the world, and you're going to start to think like, shit, like, I swear that having this in my mind has literally made my dick smaller all these years. Since you've been a boy, you've seen these adverts on TV. This is where it's come from. You've got like brainwashed by the fucking capitalistic, materialistic society around you. You've been a boy, you've been watching these little stupid ass adverts on TV where the guy drives the nice car and the lady's looking at him and the other guys like turn their heads to look at him. You saw that and you ingrained it in your mind like, oh yes, people will finally love me if I've got the car. And that stayed in your mind for so long that it's so truly ingrained that now you actually know the exact model and make of the car that you want. Because you just want some random guy on the street to like turn his head to look at you, and that like that's enough for you. Chris from First Man has like a fantastic way of explaining this, where he says that as men, like you only get a couple of good opportunities in your entire life to like do something good. You only get like a couple of moments where you have like a huge lump sum in your bank account that you can do something with, that you've got like a good amount of money, and obviously it's relative, right? So maybe you're 16 and you've got like £1,000, £2,000. Maybe you're 18, you got £5,000. Maybe you're like 25, you got 10, 50,000, you know. But it's all relative. We have moments where a lot of us have like a chunk of good money in our accounts, and every single guy seems to just get a fucking car on finance. Like still to this day, like bro, like I see, okay, I moved back home. You know my story from my main channel. I moved back home into Warrington and I see people that I know. And they're nice people, so, you know, maybe they're watching this, I don't want to insult them specifically. But this is the type of shit that, to be honest, I'd say it to their face. I didn't exactly, because I didn't just want to meet someone for the first time in years and insult them. But it's happened now with 2 different guys that I can think of, and I'm sure there's more, where I'll meet them and it's like, they've got this like pretty fancy car. And it's, you know, it's nice. It's this sense of like, oh, like, you know, my car. So I ask him, like, I'm always curious. I'm like, oh, yeah, like, how much was it? And he's like, oh, it's really good, mate. It's like, it's X amount. I don't know how much they said, like thousands that they had to pay up front. And now I only have to pay like 300 quid a month for the next 4, 5, 6 years. Okay, so you're telling me that you have just stole money from your future self for a car that you can't afford right now. No. If you have to get it on finance, if you have to put yourself in debt to buy something, you can't buy it. You can't afford it. You're stealing money from your future self to afford it. What the fuck? Now, I'm not gonna lie, like sometimes debt can be okay. For a mortgage, for example, it's kind of like assumed you're gonna get a house on mortgage for 99% of people. Understandable. But for a car, what's happening with these guys that I'm seeing is that they want a car that's better than what they deserve. If you can't buy it outright, you don't deserve it. If this car is, I don't know how much cars are, right? Like good car, I assume like shitty cars like 1,000, 2,000. These cars, like they look kind of like new and I don't know, Ford or BMW. I don't know, bro. But I'm assuming, okay, let's say they're £5,000, £10,000. That's probably reasonable. If you don't have that much in your account to buy it, you can't afford it. This idea of getting it onto finance, like you don't want to go down that route. Maybe there's some people watching this and maybe they could put it below, but it's like, you have not seen the other fucking side of that when people miss their payments and they're like stressed the fuck out now that they've got a car on finance. I worked in a fucking car finance, customer service. I worked in the complaints department. These are people working, you know, normal fucking people, right? Normal jobs and everything. They get a car on finance or on debt from our company and then start calling up the complaints because the car's broke down and they still have to pay every month. I'm paying every month. Like, it was the same fucking sentence so many of them would say, and it was so fucking sad. I'm paying every month for a car that I can't use. The car just broke down. It's just like shit the bed or something like 2 months after they bought it. And of course the car wasn't like brand new or anything, so it must have had existing problems. And these people would cry on the phone. Like, my work is so far away, I can't get there now. I can't afford this. Like, I need to cancel it, but oh, sorry, like, we can't cancel it. It's in, like, you're in debt to us. People crying, bro. People fully saying that they've got depression because of this shit. This is what materialism does to people in this age. Do a little practice with me now and like think in your mind, like, what items is there that you're striving for? Is there something very specific? Because just know, I'm not going to cite the research, but maybe you can trust me, maybe you can look at the research. Just know that the research just showed that whatever we expect, we're always left unsatisfied when we buy an item compared to an experience. If in your mind, the major things related to buying something, right? If it's an experience, if it's a trip, if it's traveling, if it's, I don't know, but you know, if it's a good experience, fantastic, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I get them too. Sometimes I'll visualize something like traveling. I'll visualize, spending money on like a certain experience, like going to a coffee shop or something and buying food, right? I think that's generally, the research shows that actually has quite a high ROI, but products, items, materialism does not. We think that we're gonna be so much more happier after we get the car, or the watch is another one. The watch, for every fucking guy who starts making money and gets a Rolex like a fucking dickhead. I'm telling you right now, when I did coaching, there was two wealthy guys. And the way that one of the guys, like, he almost became like a little bit of a coach for me in this. Like, I was helping him with like fitness, and of course, like, he was like wealthy, successful, he's got 2 houses. I won't say like what company he works for because he's kind of up there now. Good man. But he would give me like little life lessons every time we'd go on a call, and he'd just passively say like, oh yeah, like, Hamza, I've had all the supercars, and he'd name them as if I knew them. I'd just blank out the Bugatti 7, I don't know what the fuck he was saying, bro, but it was like the watches and the Rolex and the Armani and then this, and he went, did not change my life one single bit. He said he still got like 1 or 2 of the cars just like sat in his garage for no reason. It's just a distraction. We are seeing the new age of entrepreneurs who avoid this type of shit because the amount that you can save in your entire life if you don't get the stupid fancy car that's based on like small dick energy, like, oh, like, I feel pretty worthless, but hopefully someone will look at me, they'll turn their neck to look at me, and then I'll feel good about myself with the watch. Hopefully someone makes eye contact with the watch and I feel good. If you avoid that type of bullshit, the amount of money that you can have for beautiful experiences just goes up significantly. The same, honestly, is said with like a house when you're young. The amount of young people I speak to, and it's like, oh yeah, like, Hamza, I'm trying to get a house. Like, what the fuck? Like, to be honest, for a young average person, it's a pretty good goal. Obviously, if you're watching this type of video, you're trying not to be average, so it's like, we're not going to get a fucking house, we're not, he's stupid as fuck. But like, I can understand that it's actually a pretty good goal for like average people who have went down the standard like small dick, medium-sized dick energy of like, oh, career, and you know, I'll get a house on mortgage, because that makes them feel successful. I've got a house, I've got a car, and I've got like a career that pays me 40,000 pounds per year. That's like society's fucking ideal of success in this modern day. Whereas there's a fucking 14-year-old TikToker who makes that per month. And then she invests the money. Like, we're in this fucking new age of entrepreneurship. This is, like, it blew my mind. I was doing a visualization this other day, and I got so grateful that you can literally see people who have made all of, like, the framework for success. And it's, like, it's so... How do you explain it? It's, like... knowledge and wisdom has been so curated, and it's just available online for free. No one has an excuse to be ignorant of the facts of how to become successful. No one has an excuse not to be a success in this day, unless if they specifically say, I don't want to, I don't give a shit. Fair enough. Absolutely fair enough. But the thing is, the majority of people want to be a success. The majority of people, like those lower end people, are more materialistic than everyone else. They want more money. There is no excuse for ignorance because all of the information and the wisdom is out there, and you're seeing it from better men than me who are saying, okay, avoid these things and do these things. And like all of the rich guys have already made all posts and articles and all this shit. They've been studied, and they've all ended up saying shit like, okay, materialistic stuff doesn't make you happy. There's no ROI in buying something that's materialistic. peel back the layers. Like, what is it that you actually want from this materialistic purchase? If we say this dream car, you are a pussy. If you've got a dream car, you're a pussy. But you're a loose pussy. Even, well, that's the worst thing, bro. Come on, you're a loose pussy if you argue with this fact and you're like, oh no, but the dream car's got, like, it's my passion, Hamza. Fuck you. Say you're a pussy. Say you're a pussy and you just want to get a car because you've got small dick energy, and I'll respect you a bit more. But the people will come with this rationalization where they won't admit what it's for. The dream car, the watch, that type of shit. It's because you want more love from your community. That's exactly what it is. Fuck you with this idea of like, oh no, but it's I'm really into cars, Hamza, and this one's got the 0 to 60 in 7 seconds or some bullshit, bro. You're rationalizing. You're coping. If you can put your hand up and say, what truly do we want from materialistic purchases like this, and the watch and the suit and everything? We just want the love and respect from other people. That usually, when you really peel back the layers and you do some levels of journaling and introspectiveness, that's usually the ultimate goal of everything that you do in life. A lot of people have this cope where they say like, oh no, but I'm doing it for myself. But it's like, you haven't peeled back the layers enough. I can tell you don't journal. I can tell that you've never like sat there and being introspective and asked yourself, why am I doing this for myself? Oh well, because it feels really good to be muscular, and then when I see myself in the mirror, then I smile. Why? I smile in the mirror because I look attractive. Why? Because if I look attractive, then maybe other people will like me. And you can shortcut that process and save all that money and fucking invest it in your freedom away from this type of like fucking rat race, instead of keeping yourself locked in. Let me say that again. You can shortcut this process. Get the love and respect of more people, which I'll teach you to do. It's kind of simple. All of the money that you were going to spend in your life on materialistic purchases, the dream fucking car, the dream, status symbols, save all of that, invest it, and have that as your capacity to be free away from a life of forced work. That is where true happiness and well-being and like prosperity for a human being comes, when you can have complete like autonomy over your schedule, when you don't need to work on a certain day. Make money, save it up until there's a good investment to be made, invest it. Materialistic purchases are not an investment. They've got such low ROI, but it's like it gets what a lot of people want, which is just that love and respect from random people, because they turn their heads, and it's this visualization where it's like, oh, but the one time a girl from the gym walks out at the same time as me and she sees me in a nice car, she might like me, and I might finally get the hole in my heart patched up a little bit because I don't love myself. And really, there's two things, right? I'm working on the self-love as well, so I can't give you too much advice, but I would assume that you need other people's love and validation a lot less when you've got a lot of your own self-love. And it's basic as fuck advice. Everyone's going to say this, right? Oh, to get self-love, do self-improvement and work hard and go to the gym. Bullshit. Does not work like that whatsoever. Like, I've got the body. I've got the money. I'm telling you right now, so, like, maybe everyone's different from me or something, but I'm telling you, it doesn't seem like self-love comes from achievements, external factors. It has to be something that's 100% consistent during anything, during every action that you do. It is consistent mostly 100% for the people who've had a very healthy, happy, safe home life where their parents showed them a very consistent self of love, because essentially we love ourselves as our parents did. If your parents loved you all the time, very, very nice, consistent, then you'll probably feel the same way. If your parents loved you and very fragile and they violently would outburst, then they'll come in and apologize and make you feel good, and then they'll take you out for ice cream, and then 3 days later they'll beat you ass. You'll love yourself in a very similar, like, toxic, sort of like up and down roller coaster way. That's a side note, but like, that's just something I'm realizing. It's like self-love doesn't come from shit you buy. It doesn't even come from things like going to the gym. I'm tapping slowly into it with like more therapy and everything, but it's not from the basic self-improvement stuff. But really, what we want from this type of shit is that social validation. And you can shortcut that simply through improving your social skills. And there's no, like, you shouldn't be upset or resistant to this. As soon as I mention to improve your social skills, a lot of people throw up the excuse and they're like, oh no, it's not worth my time. I'm making money, I'm too busy, I don't care, I don't care about making friends, I'm the lone wolf and everything. But you gotta understand, like, you're the lone wolf who's working this hard so that he can get a car so that people pay attention to him and he doesn't have to be the lone wolf anymore. How about you not be the lone wolf right now? Don't get into bad, stupid habits with bad friends, get into drugs and partying too much or anything with bad friends, fine. But like, learn how to make everyone around you at least more of a friend than neutral or foe. We walk around and everyone's pretty much neutral. Every now and then you see someone who's automatically placed in the friend category because they're just so happy, they smile at you, and you know that this person's probably not going to fucking rape you or stab you or something. So most people are neutral, some people are friends. Some people, a lot of people, to be honest, depending on your level of anxiety, we place them in more of the spectrum of foe, of enemy, depending on how they look at you, how they're shaped. Maybe they remind you of someone who hurt you when they're younger. The pursuit of life with the majority of things we do is just to push as many people on this spectrum to this side of friend. And doing that in such a silly, small dick way of this dream car, of the weird woman who says that she's wanted to be married all of her life. It's all in a pursuit to push it this way. Why wait your entire life to do that and do it in a way which is so superficial and so temporary that everyone's your best friend on your wedding, everyone really, really cares about you, everyone's your best friend when you've got like a nice car or something. You want social validation, improve your social skills, learn to be like way more friendly. Like, I can't even like shortly conclude social skills training. You can literally just go online and like read 5 different books and watch a bunch of like different classes and everything on it, and you'll get way better. It's just a bunch of the fundamentals is the most important thing. It's the body language, the eye contact and smile, and that's like probably 80% of social skills. You focus on them instantly when you go around places, like people will smile and laugh and like just be so warm towards you. They'll point their feet at you and everything. You'll notice their body language being so warm and open instead of like cold and hostile. That's what we've wanted all this time. For the love of God, don't fucking spend your money on some bullshit fucking dream car with this idea like, oh, but everyone's gonna validate me. Everyone will validate you if you're just a nice social person. Mwah.